You're reading this thanks to a miracle. Not the internet, not electricity. Lenses. The same invisible power behind your smartphone's camera, the microscopes that discovered cells, the telescopes that found galaxies, all of them owe their existence to one medieval invention. An invention so valuable, Venice tried to lock it behind walls, threats, and silence. But they couldn't stop it. Because knowledge has a way of escaping. This is the story of eyeglasses, how they were invented, protected, nearly lost, and eventually changed how we see the world, literally. Let's go back to the 13th century. Monks across Europe are copying manuscripts by hand. They've spent decades training their minds to understand Latin, and now their eyes are failing them. As people aged, so did their vision. But back then, poor eyesight wasn't just an inconvenience. It could end a career, or worse, cut someone off from knowledge. Then something remarkable happened. By the late 1200s, in northern Italy, someone curved a piece of glass and discovered it could bend light to make things appear clearer. They'd just invented the first reading lenses, what we now call eyeglasses. These early lenses weren't worn on your face. They were held up to the eyes, placed in bone, metal, or wood frames, often by scholars or clergy. By 1286, there's a written record of eyeglasses being shown off in Florence. Just a few decades later, artisans began crafting them more regularly. It's here we enter the story of Venice, the city of glass. Venice was no ordinary city. It was a commercial empire with global reach, especially in luxury goods. But its most prized industry? Glassmaking. To control this valuable trade, the Venetian government made a bold move. In 1291, all glassmakers were forced to relocate to the island of Murano. Officially, it was about preventing fires from kilns. Unofficially, it was about control. Murano became a fortress of secrets. Glassmakers were treated both as elite artisans and prisoners. They were forbidden to leave the island with their knowledge. Those who tried could lose their property. Some, according to records, were even assassinated. Venice had turned lens making into a state secret, a medieval version of intellectual property protection. And for a time, it worked. But no secret stays hidden forever. By the early 1300s, eyeglasses were showing up in Florence, then across Italy, then across Europe. So how did the technology escape? Historians point to a few key possibilities. Defectors. Some glassmakers likely fled Murano in secret, bribed by wealthy foreign patrons who wanted the trade for themselves. Reverse engineering. Scholars and craftsmen who got their hands on early lenses may have figured out how to make them by studying the finished product. Trade and travel. Venice was a hub of commerce. Knowledge leaks, sometimes in conversations, apprenticeships, or copied designs, were bound to happen. Soon, new centers of eyeglass making arose. Florence, Nuremberg, even the Islamic world. And Venice? They tried to hold on, but the lens was now out of the bottle. Once lens making spread, everything accelerated. Eyeglasses became cheaper. More people could read. Literacy expanded. Artisans pushed lenses beyond just reading, making them concave and convex to aid different vision problems. By the 1500s, they were being mass-produced in Europe. And then came the real revolution, science. In the early 1600s, Galileo used lenses to create the telescope. Hooke and Van Leeuwenhoek used them to develop the microscope. Eyeglasses didn't just help people read. They helped us see the stars, the cell, the secrets of nature. Today, that legacy is everywhere. Camera lenses, VR headsets, LASIK surgery, optical AI. Nearly 2 billion people wear glasses right now. Countless others benefit from lens-based tech. And it all traces back to a few pieces of curved glass. In a workshop Venice tried to lock down. But knowledge doesn't stay caged. What started as a secret became a revolution, not just in sight, but in understanding. Eyeglasses didn't just fix vision. They opened our eyes. To books, to science, to the universe. Venice tried to guard this gift. But history had other plans. Because when it comes to human progress, the clearer we see, the further we go. This is Inventive Echoes. And this was the story of the lens that changed everything.